All right, we're live. I'll see if everything is working here. My last couple streams, the mic has always been muted for like the first 2 minutes, and I don't realize. So let's hope that it's all good this time. I've checked it a bunch, so let me know if you guys can hear me. Okay. A few people saying hi. Say hello in the chat. Let me know where you guys are at. Should be a pretty cool stream. Got some fun stuff planned. A few people funneling in here. Yeah, so today, pretty much what's on the agenda, assuming you guys can all hear me okay. I'm going to be announcing a new series that I'm going to be doing possibly weekly, every other week, something like that, and it's going to be really exciting. A lot of cool stuff to learn from that. We have a little Fusion trivia game, so that'll be fun. I haven't done one of those before, and I think we'll have some nice competition going on. And then this is also just going to be a general Q&A. So if you guys have any Fusion or I guess DaVinci Resolve related questions, just let me know in the chat. We'll funnel back and get to those eventually as well. So let's see what we got going on here. I got my chat. I can move it to the screen right now. All right, Picard's in here. Craze. It'll be fun pronouncing names. That's the part that I like the best here. Hello, Steve. All right. No, dang, what's going on? Doing pretty good, Picard. How about you? All right. Let's see. Fusion just broke for you. Oh, what happened? Was it something you did or did it just break on its own? That's always a question. Where's Soap, Tyler, and Phoenix? Yeah, we got to get them in here. All right. So hopefully you guys are all doing pretty good today. I guess we'll get right into it and talk about the new Fusion series that I'm going to be doing. So I hinted to it in the title a little bit. If anyone can figure it out, do we have guesses? Let's do that. I'm gonna drag out the announcement a little bit here. It's in the thumbnail. Like I wrote out the text, the name of it, and then I put a mosaic blur on it, and I made it so at least if you know what it is, you can tell. So if you guys have a guess as to what that new series is, let me know. It's gonna be really cool. I think you guys are all gonna like it. It broke on its own as far as I know. If I do anything to any node, Resolve crashes. Huh. Is it only in like one project? Like is it a certain Fusion composition that you're working in, or is it just like across the board it always breaks? And what version are you using? Picard's also annoyed at Resolve. Seems to be the pattern. The pattern right here. Yeah, it's one project, all the comps in that project. Interesting. So, but it's all the cops, or not cops, all the comps. It's not just one specific effect that you're working on. Yeah, that's strange. I'm not sure. I know 19.1.2, which is technically the latest release, has had a decent amount of issues. The one that I ran into was that if you save like a custom template, it doesn't actually work inside of the edit page. Like you drag it down, it just doesn't work. If you take that same template, put it in Fusion, works totally fine. And if you take that same template, package it up into a DRFX file, works totally fine. So all my tools still work, thankfully. But it was just so annoying. I reverted back to 19.1.1 really quick. So yeah, 0.2, I've seen a decent amount of people complaining about and having different issues. Yeah, it keeps crashing once every minute. Interesting. Picard, are you using 19.1.2 as well? Or are you on a different version? Who is streaming in the night? Yeah, so anyways, a new series that we're doing, Fusion Friday. So it's going to be, like I said, possibly weekly, possibly bi-weekly. We'll see here. And instead of doing some sort of like topic, like I just did the Iron Man series, right? It's going to take like one Fusion fundamental feature or just part of the program and dive into that. So for example, tomorrow we're going to be talking about resolutions in Fusion, talking about how they work, how you can use them, problems people run into, and just a bunch of cool stuff like that. And some of the other stuff that we're going to do, Randall's not in here yet. He'd be excited about this, that we're going to dive into a Fusion hotkey manager. That's a video that I have planned. And I got to see some of the other ones. Domain of definition, if you guys know much about that, I want to dive into that, explain that. So the goal with this series is essentially just to have a bunch of one-off videos that explain a topic in depth. So if you're looking around Fusion and you see this thing like, what the heck is domain definition? Like, how do I use that? What is this? Because if you try it yourself, it'll probably break something. It's super annoying, but it's a cool feature. So the goal with these videos in this series is just to have a really good library that you can look up, or new users can go through and just learn a bunch of cool aspects of the program in more digestible videos, rather than having to try and find a cool feature hidden in a Iron Man video, right? Still going to be doing videos like that, just not quite as well, I guess about as often as I'm doing them now, but we'll have a more consistent upload with the Fusion Friday thing. So that'll be cool. First episode goes live tomorrow. So let's catch up on chat here. Let's see. Picard's using 19.1.1. Interesting. It started crashing for you in 0.1. All right. So it's a more ongoing issue. Cat Daddy's using 0.1.2, but you haven't run into any issues. That's good. That's really good. It seems to be hit or miss depending on people's workflow. So some people, it's working great. Other people, not so much. So I am really looking forward to the next update, which it's been a while because they haven't updated since last year, but quite a ways before Christmas, and makes sense. They probably had some time off, but I'm looking forward to the next update to hopefully fix some of the stuff. Fusion didn't work in 19, so I figured upgrading to 19.1 would work, but it actually did the opposite. Huh, that's always fun. How's it going, William? I was at William was streaming earlier today, talking about his new Spark Effects tools. We're demoing some of the features and testing it out, and that is really cool. You guys should check that out. A lot of really cool workflow stuff and stuff you didn't even know was possible, because it's not just in the program. Like he has a separate program that just works really well with DaVinci Resolve and adds new features that you couldn't do in just a normal template. So pretty cool. All right. Yeah, everyone is streaming today. No kidding. I mean, just this whole week. Who was live yesterday? Casey was live. Yeah, Casey was live. William was live today. Now I'm live. It's pretty fun. It's a cool community thing just to be able to, chat with people and do some fun stuff. All right. Will I be working with 3D sets and green screen keying into those sets? It's hard to find material for like bullet time. Yeah. Like tutorials on green screens and like integrating or compositing that in like a 3D scene. That is not what this new series will be for, but that is definitely something I can make videos on in the future. This one's going to be like less effect based and more just utility based, right? Like talking about resolution, like that'll apply to pretty much everything. We'll see what we work in there. We could do some like just green screen stuff, but a lot of that's more stylized and specialized. So I would make just a normal video for that then, which I think would be a lot of fun to do as well. All right. I think what we're going to do right away, though, is dive into do some Fusion trivia. All right. So how this is going to work, just so it's fair, because I know there's different delay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post a question in the chat, then I'll read it off and stuff like that. And whoever gets the correct answer right first is going to win. So you'll get a point then, essentially. So there's 10 questions, and whoever has the most points will give a... Sorry, I got distracted by chat. Get a copy of EditorCollection for free. And if you already have EditorCollection, awesome. We'll figure something else out. So we'll see how that goes. But I think this will be fun. We get to test all your knowledge on Fusion. And you won't just be able to Google it because someone else will know the answer faster. So we'll go ahead and give this a try. Let's see a few other questions here. Frame render script would be a nice topic. That could be cool. Yeah. That one can also always be so finicky. Like I get DaVinci Resolve to crash all the time when I use frame render script. So maybe I'm doing it wrong. You'd wish they would work on making qualifiers work better in Magic Mask too. I think those work great. I mean, like stuff like Magic Mask can always be improved. But so far it's doing amazing. We'll see how it works on those new NVIDIA cards. I saw in one of their presentations they showed off Magic Mask. See how fast it gets. All right, you started university a year ago, real struggle. Great. Yeah, so you're just looking for, are you going to school for like video editing stuff or something else? Because yeah, I mean, especially when you're in school, like there's a lot of time that goes into studying and all that, and you just gotta carve out time in your schedule. Just I guess just making a calendar, staying organized with that. That's the best tips that I have there. Tyler's here. Yes, from the Iron Man tutorial. Yep, that's me. We got Tyler here from the lighting himself on fire tutorial. Great video. You guys should go check that out. It's pretty fun. Yeah, William says he's never seen frame render script work. Yeah, I've never gotten it other than just like printing something in the console. Crashes DaVinci Resolve every time. You just thought you didn't understand it. See, I wonder if this is one of those things that works better in Fusion Studio, but when they brought it over to DaVinci Resolve, it just breaks and no one's used it, so no one's fixed it. Am I planning on upgrading to the new NVIDIA series? Yes. I'm currently on a more than 5-year-old computer at this point. So I have a 2080 Ti right now, which is, I mean, it's pushing through. It still works really good, but I'm starting to feel it a little bit in some of my projects. So I was waiting for the 50 series. I really want a 5090, but it's $2,000 and I don't know what the availability is going to be. So I'm thinking about going that way, but I'd like to see your opinions on that. Everyone's opinion. Should I get a 5080 or a 5090? Or what would you buy? Because if it's me buying it, it's my money. But what would you buy? All right, what else we got? Clinton, man, how's it going? It's been a while since we talked. How have you been? You're studying communication and designing. Yeah, so I mean, it's just finding time to do some more creative stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Got to get that AV1 coding. Oh, AV1 encoding. Yeah. The 4090, and if you're able to find it, the 5090 are going to be so freaking expensive. Yeah, I mean, the 4090 is crazy right now. It's going for like 2,300. I mean, they stopped making them, but still, when they were making them, it was like 2,000 or more when they launched at 1,600. So I'm scared of what the 5090 will do. My plan is, if I choose to get it, to be there on the 31st when they release, like on Best Buy, refreshing, and get the Founders Edition right away. Hopefully before it sells out, which could be a few minutes, could be hours, days, or could be a couple seconds. How would I remove a background from a video? Because every time I would try and remove backgrounds in the Edit tab, it would allow me... Oh, chat just moved. So are you saying how would you remove a background in the free version without using Magic Mask? But it would let you in the Edit tab? What tool did you use in the Edit tab that it would let you? Did it give you a watermark? Because that's usually what it does. Max you would go for is a 5080. After all, you're gaming in 1080. We'll have to see what the scalpers will do. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the 5080 is a great choice. I mean, it's way more powerful than what I have already. But again, if I'm going to keep my computer for 5+ years, it might be nice to have the 5090. I'm definitely not going to go with a 4090. I know that. 5090 if you can afford. Yeah, it's like 32 gigabytes of VRAM. It's insane. I have 12 right now. Yeah, and I think the 5080 is only at 16. So like if he's spending $1,000, I mean, it's a lot faster, but I'd only be going up a couple of gigabytes in RAM. You have a laptop, bought a monitor for bigger vision and commodity. Great decision. Yeah. Yeah, I before I built this computer, I was actually working with a laptop, and I would just have it plugged into monitors at my desk, and that's how I would do it. That had it had some NVIDIA chip in it, but it was like a 960 or something. It was one of the like mid-range laptop graphics cards, and I stayed on that for a long time. That was back in like DaVinci Resolve 15, maybe into 16 a little bit. Yeah, 5080, 5090. You need a new graphics card using a GTX 1070. We were just talking about that a few weeks ago. Those the 10 series cards are really good. You'll take my old GPU if you want it. I think I might try and sell it to offset the cost of the 4090. I think I could probably get 800 to 1,000 for my PC. A monitor review and guide series? Probably not me. I don't know enough about that to do stuff. If I do build a computer, I was planning this out. If I do build one, I'm gonna do like a ultimate PC building guide for Fusion. Just talk through some of the specs and also give some recommendations for like a mid-range model as well. That's not $5,000 to buy. You just want the 32 gigs of RAM. Yep, way more bandwidth. Yeah. What is it on the 5090? Is it like 1.2 terabytes per second, or was that the old one? Or 5090? Did I say? Yeah, whatever. I think 5090 is like 1.2 terabytes per second, which is just nuts. 4080 Super 2, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that card's going to be great. It's going to last you forever. 3080 or 3090 Ti works good. For now, that is. Yep. Until they start updating and adding in new AI features and stuff like that. You got the free version, so I couldn't... you have no clue how to remove the background, but it kept bugging out. So for removing the background in a like a free version project, there's a few ways you can do it. Obviously, the hardest part is just rotoscoping, like manually masking out like your subject. But depending on what it is, like you can get do something similar to a green screen effect. Like if you have a subject on a really bright background, you can use a luma keyer. I think I have a video on that. If you look up 4 keying tricks on my channel, I think that one's still up there. And that kind of talks about some ways that you can remove the background in the free version. So maybe you could apply one of those. And the tax write-off, yeah, no kidding. $2,000. That'd be nice. 1.8 terabytes a second. Yeah, it's insane. So it must have been up from like 1.2, or maybe that's what no, 5080 would probably be the same. Wampus is here. How's it going? Is the GOAT live? I appreciate that. Gonna love the tax write-off on your new GPU. Yep. It makes it, when you buy it, it's kind of a dangerous thing because obviously you still have to pay the money, but it's like, yeah, it's a tax write-off. So it's a little dangerous saying that. Join the stream first on mobile, then on PC. At first, the mobile stream was about a second faster. Now the PC is about a half second, or ahead by about a half a second. Interesting. I can claim my GPU on taxes. Yeah, save a little money. Do it. Absolutely. It won't let you send just emojis. Yeah, starting a new series. It's going to be Fusion Friday. So we're just going to go over some, for everyone that hasn't heard it yet, going over some like technical aspect of Fusion. So rather than like a Iron Man HUD video or something like that, it's going to be the first video tomorrow talking about resolution in Fusion. Going to do stuff like domain of definition, do different topics like that. So it's going to be awesome. And the other thing, if you guys have any questions like about a certain thing in Fusion, like whether that be, resolution, frame rate, any of that, let me know. Because I'm making a list so that way I can get a bunch of these videos out and hopefully keep this going weekly, if not bi-weekly. But need a bunch of ideas for what you guys want to learn so that way I can prioritize those and do those first. So that's the benefit of being on the stream. You get to contribute to that. You got 500 back in your latest PC. We'll be able to use that to get the 5070 Ti for only 600. If I can get it for 750. Yeah. Live stream series? No, it will not be. It's just going to be set videos. The trivia is today. I was gonna do it, but then I got distracted. So we're gonna do a Fusion trivia here in a little bit once we get through a few more questions in chat. It's gonna be fun. So stick around. And winner will get EditorCollection for free. And if you already own EditorCollection, we'll figure something else out, like EditorTitles or something. You thought about getting rid of your entire setup and buying the Mac Studio with the M3 or chips. Those things look awesome. I've almost bought a Mac Studio, like the $600 one, a couple times. I think that's something I'll probably do this year because just for my templates that I build, just having the option to make sure it works on Mac, that'd be awesome. But if you saw Chadwick at Creative Video Tips, he did a video on setting up like Fusion render farms or even just Resolve render farms. So I could be rendering my video or done with my video and I could just send it off to the Mac Studio. I don't care if it takes a little bit longer because I can still use my main machine while that renders. So for $600, that's pretty good. But yeah, if you're in the Mac ecosystem, I like Windows better. But if you're in the Mac ecosystem, get one of those a little bit higher end Mac Studios or something. And yeah, those things are beasts. I think how to make a step to intermediate Fusion users is a big one. Yeah, so taking someone from just like a fundamental level to, intermediate or to expert level knowledge. I think this series is really going to help with that because it's just going to be it'll be a playlist that people can go through and learn. It'll bring people up to essentially expert levels on one topic from basically a beginner. So I think it'll be really useful because then people can just kind of go at their own pace throughout that. The shader and material system, that's a whole area of Fusion that I'd love to learn more about using. Yeah, I used to do a lot more of that actually when I did some 3D tutorials and stuff. But I know some of it using like the Cook Tolerance, the Ward, Reflect nodes and stuff like that. Yeah, that'd be a really good one to make a video about. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Maybe we'll dive into that a little bit on stream later. Once we're done with Fusion Trivia and stuff like that, we will just hop into DaVinci Resolve and mess around for a bit. Can we do some sort of showcase / challenge for Fusion nodes? Say, for example, try to replicate this effect in Fusion, or make animation X with no more than Y amount of nodes. That would be fun. I was talking to Patrick in his stream last week. And we should collab and get a few of the DaVinci Resolve YouTubers in a stream together, and then just be like, hey, you have to make this, but you only get 3 nodes. I think that'd be fun just to kind of do live or turn into a video. It'd be a really good learning experience. Ambient occlusion, yep, I know how that's set up as well. That one was complicated. That one took me a long time to figure out originally. I remember just looking through the internet, trying to find any hints for that. Who are we banning in the server later? Wampus? Yeah, like when to use Ward versus Blinn. Yeah, it's probably been over a year since I've even used those nodes, but from what I remember, I think Blinn is going to be more for if you have reflective materials, but I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on that. Reminder for people to set the chat settings to live so all messages are visible. Oh, yeah. Hey, mine's set to top chat. Am I missing messages? Hopefully in the studio thing it doesn't do that. Oh, maybe it does. Oh, no, never mind. Okay. Subdermal Lightning VFX Challenge. Yeah, it'd be fun to do together. Tyler's evil laugh. Banning Picard. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Just kidding. You ban Picard, I ban you, Tyler. You don't think there's enough information about the channel, Boolean, and Mac control nodes? Yeah, those are really powerful nodes as well. A lot of times that fits more into advanced workflows, so it doesn't get talked about too much, but that could be something cool to cover, like a channel Boolean. That could be a cool Fusion Friday episode, just showing off some of that you can do with it. Because that node does get pretty complicated, so that might be more of a multi-part video or something. If you need to do 3D work, please use Blender or anything else other than basic animation. Don't listen to Tyler. DaVinci Resolve Fusion is the best 3D program out there. And if you have any questions about it, he's an expert, so go ask him. Ask him what you need. I'm kidding, but yeah, you use Blender, use a different 3D program. DaVinci is just like Fusion's a compositing program. It has some 3D features because sometimes you need to tie that in, but you should not be using it as your primary 3D program because you can't do modeling or anything like that. I lie. Prove it, Tyler. Prove it. Blender makes your head hurt. Blender is such a cool program. Like, I've started to learn it a couple of times, and I have some base level knowledge, but yeah, I mean, it's awesome, especially all that geometry node stuff recently. Like, it's got nodes. Come on, we should all love it. But just the procedural stuff that you can generate with that. Oh yeah, also make sure to crop the screenshots that you send to Tyler. So like if you're talking about the 3D system, just show him which node that you're working on. And then ask something totally unrelated. He loves that. All the pet peeves of the Discord moderators here. Yeah, and shout out to Tyler, Picard, all the moderators in the DaVinci Resolve Discord server for everything they do. It's pretty great. Oh, did I link that? I meant to put that in the description. I did. Yeah, go join the Discord server, link down below. It's a phenomenal resource for anyone learning DaVinci Resolve. We have categories for everything from cut page, edit page, color, fusion, even some scripting stuff. So hop in there, ask some questions. There's a lot of people that are just willing to help out. It's pretty awesome. Oh, Polly's in here too. I've stopped like reading names as much and just reading the message, so I missed that. How's it going, Polly? Yes, but does Blender have Magic Mask? It does not. Not that I don't think Blender has any AI tools yet. And I don't know how much they'll integrate since it's all open source, and that stuff's pretty expensive. Maybe with the new NVIDIA GPUs, they can do something. Nowadays, you mostly use a merge with the different operation modes instead of Mac control. Yes. Yeah, just going in the merge and setting the operator that it's called to mask. Yeah, that's really nice. I've never used Mac control too much. Typically, I'll use a bitmap node instead. But that is something that I want to dive into a little bit more because I know it has some extra features that I don't always utilize. So Blender is cool, but yeah, it's a complete nightmare if you don't know anything about 3D modeling. Yeah. I mean, same with DaVinci Resolve. If you come into it knowing nothing about computers and nothing about video editing, like, you know, it's a massive program. Yes, I know. Like, I was like, oh, he just got here, and then I scrolled up and saw all your messages. So I don't know how I missed your name, but yeah, welcome to the stream. Oh, Hillian's here too. What the heck? How long have you been here? Okay, you just joined recently. All right. I'm doing a really bad job catching names today. All right. Operator from alpha to luminance. Yes. That's an awesome thing too. Maybe you just switched accounts. It took you a year to even get a basic grasp of DaVinci. Yeah. I mean, I've been using Fusion and DaVinci Resolve for probably 7-8 years now. And I'm still learning stuff all the time. So yeah, it's one of those programs that it's just impossible to know everything. I mean, someone might. Someone might claim to, at least. Now we're missing Soap and Phoenix. Yeah. It is not. It's not always easiest, especially because it keeps jumping around as I'm trying to read a paragraph. So when I'm reading something, stop posting messages. Learning both Blender and Fusion together really helps you grasp the usage of nodes and how their structures work. Yes. Well, Blender and Fusion are two programs that go so hand in hand because with Blender, like you can do all of the rendering and the modeling and stuff like that. Then you take it into Fusion and then you composite it. You do all the final touches, all the 2D stuff that you need to do. So if you know both of them, like that's phenomenal. You can do so much. And Blender has some compositing stuff in it as well, but it's not to the level that something like Fusion is. at least in my opinion. Think I have forgotten more in Fusion than I've learned. Yeah. Probably the same way, yeah. I'll do that every now and then, that I go back to one of my old videos. Like with ambient occlusion, I used to always have to do that. I'd be like, and then I'd have to go back from a video from 3 years ago and watch it. Like, how did I figure this out 3 years ago if I don't know it now? So it's always annoying when you have to do that. But time to send a 90 paragraph message so no one can send messages anymore. Hey now. They're not locked in. Jake, next time you call up the people at BMD, tell them Fusion needs a cryptomat workflow. Gosh dang it. I don't really have a contact at Fusion just for feature requests. It's always just use the forum, which I've been doing quite a bit recently. I've been posting on the Blackmagic forum. So we'll see if that bears any fruit and if we get some of those features. I just posted the other day about video tracks. So you know, like you can put a Fusion composition above your videos, and you can set the mode in a media in to be background, and it grabs everything below it. What I would like is to be able to set it to background, but then say only bring in the one track below it. So that way you could, if you're doing a video like a tutorial or something, you could have your screen recording, you could have your camera, and then you could put a adjustment or a Fusion composition on the top, and it would only affect your camera. And I think that'd be really cool. And then you could put another one on top that would affect all three of them, you know? So that's the most recent suggestion that I made on the forums. Yet to see someone really explain how to use Blender properly. Everyone just want to use keyboard shortcuts. Well, shortcut keys in Blender it's built around those. So if you're not using keyboard shortcuts, I don't think you'll be able to get the most out of it. And again, it's one of those programs that you can't just explain in one video. Like I feel the same way about Fusion. It's really hard to put together just one thing explaining everything about it. What about the key to instantly connect the last node to the output? That is a great one. Oh, I'm thinking of something different than you guys are. Layer pull, that would be cool. Well, it's not, I guess it's kind of like pre-composing, but the benefit of doing that is you don't actually need to put stuff in a pre-composition, or you don't need to combine clips into a Fusion composition to do the same thing. And that's kind of what I'm going for. Like that you could put a Fusion composition at the top, and then inside of that Fusion composition, you could pull in like video track 1, video track 2 separately, without having to put it into a Fusion composition. So I think it's less destructive in a way, because that way you can still do color correction and still have the raw files right on, like in that main timeline. I don't know really how well it worked though. Try and make that make sense coding wise though. So I was thinking about that, but in the media ins right now, you can already pull in different audio tracks. Like you can select which audio track plays back. So they have some way to reference that. So I think they'd be able to do it, and it wouldn't be too difficult. When do you think Blackmagic Design will add a real SVG import into the shape system? I've had to write a script to get Fusion to work with the complex SVGs in the shape system. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I missed a question up there. What did you expect or wish from Blackmagic Design in 2025? That's my answer. I want SVG support and more stuff like that. Yeah. I made a video what I want to see in Fusion 19, like right before that came out. And I was talking about doing like just better SVG support. So having a good way to import it into the shape system, and then also being able to support stuff like a soft edge in the shape system. We can't do that right now. Adding drop shadows, can't do that right now because you don't have softness. So adding more support for that is what I want. Oh, gradients too. Gradients is one of the big ones for the shape system. Because all of that is supported by SVGs. You can do soft edge, you can do gradients, all of that. But right now we can't do that inside of the shape system. So hopefully that's something they add in Resolve 20 or maybe a 19.5 update. like they did a bunch last time around. So yeah, that's something that I really want. I was talking about doing like a SVG node potentially, because if you've imported SVGs into Fusion, you know how messy the node graph can get. So just having a node that contains that, kind of like the multi-poly node, that you have like different folders inside of that, and you can just click on it, modify the mask, and that way it's not a massive mess. So I think that'd be a really cool thing to do. What did I eat today? For breakfast, I actually had a really good breakfast today. I had eggs, bacon, and cinnamon rolls. Yeah, it's pretty good. Then I just had a shake for lunch. So sounds too flexible for Blackmagic Design. I see. I don't know, because they add in really nice features like this, like that whole background feature that just kind of came out of nowhere. That just added more flexibility and functionality. So, I mean, hopefully that's something that they'll consider. SVG is complex and does more than just shapes like gradients. Yeah, so I want full support for all that stuff. Even going just into using the normal like SVG import, you don't have full support for all that. It's weird. Sometimes it'll break. Making you hungry? Yeah. All right, let's jump into the Fusion trivia here quick. I reached the end of chat, so we're going to do that. So let me pull up my sheet with all the answers and questions here. So again, we're just going to do, I'm going to post the message in chat, so that way delay does not make too much of a difference. And then you have to get the correct answer first to win. All right. So for some of these, I'm trying to think, like, I guess I'll specify before the question. So here we go. All right. I'm going to copy the first one, and then we're going to paste it. So remember, first one to get the answer right is going to win. All right, here we go. What keyboard shortcut is used to open the Select Tool menu in Fusion? And we'll see who wins this. All right, we got P. Shift space, Tyler. Tyler's got it. LOL. What does P do? I gotta remember here. Let's go into Fusion. I got the chat closed right now for 1 second. I want to find out what that does. It sounds familiar. Yeah, I don't think. Oh, it's Control P that I was thinking of. All right. Y'all are too fast. You're not above Tyler. P is passed through. Yeah, but it's Control P. Yep. All right. All right, so Tyler has a point. Let me I gotta pull this up here. Let's just do a notepad. And for some reason, Notepad's frozen. How does that happen? Like one of the most lightweight programs in Windows. It's not responding. All right. I don't like how they added memory to it, so it saves your documents. All right, we're going to open Word. How's that sound? All right, Tyler has 1 point. There we go. All right. Does it show that you're first in your chat? For me, it has Tyler popping up first. So we're gonna base it off of my chat here, but you couldn't even reach the keyboard and like 3 people already answered. You got to be ready. Like, just be ready to type it. Windows for the win. Yeah. Blame it on the time. Delete system 32. Don't type that. Your task manager crashed earlier. Yeah, it's like, come on, this is the one that's supposed to work so I can close stuff. How do you force close task manager? Oh, you're on your phone? Yeah. Well, that's pretty impressive. You got it typed out that fast on your phone. So, yeah, well done. All right. Here's another one. Let's see what we got. In addition to anim curves, which modifier did I use to create animations using a background node? This one's a little more interesting. We'll find out who watches my videos. There we go, Pro modifier. You got this one. Tyler says the follower. All right. Tyler's came in first again, but it was not correct. Perturb, that's not it. Not the follower. That was a random guess? I mean, I give you the point, but if that was a random guess, yeah, it was a probe modifier. Yep. Because we use the background, so it's a gradient going from black to white. And then the probe modifier checks the pixel value as it moved across. So we used the probe modifier plugged into an anim curves to animate using a background node. Really cool concept in video if you guys want to check that out. So how do you say your name? Is it just CFOP? Cubing? I'm just going to call you Cubing. Let's do that. You got 1 point as well. Yeah, probe modifier is really cool. Yep, and then so, you know, in the background node, how you have that gradient selector that you can like add the different points? I set it up so you could totally use that as the animation. Like you could drag that back and forth to make stuff longer, have it animate out and stuff. So it's pretty cool. You can make your own templates with that. Make your own animation system. Couldn't think of the word probe. Well, that's cool if you knew what I was talking about. Rubik's Cube. CFOP cubing, is that right? That makes sense. I should have guessed that. All right, we got another one coming in here, all right? Give you a little bit of heads up so that way you guys can prepare, get all ready. I don't know exactly what the delay is here, so I don't know how much time you have. All right, but here it goes. What do you need to press to add a pipe router on a node pipe? Escape edits. Got it. It looks like everyone's getting this one right. Yeah, we don't have any wrong answers here. Well done. CFOP cubing is being specific. That's good too. What in the what? I can explain this one. All right, so escape edits has 1 as well. All right, I gotta switch my window around here so I can show DaVinci. All right, so in Fusion, let's say we're working with something. I'm gonna put Tyler in here. There we go. If you want to stay organized, you can alt-click on a node pipe or on a node. Yeah, node pipe, and it adds in a pipe router. So you can move this around and route the pipes in any direction you want. So that's nice if you have a bunch of stuff that's like, you know, overlapping on another node and you don't want it to do that. You can use a pipe router to, you know, go around it. So you alt-click on it and it creates that. It's pretty cool. All right, and for the standing here, Tyler still has 1, CFOP cubing has 1, and escape edits has 1. If we have a tie, I don't know what to do. So we'll see. Don't tie. Stupid phone. Alt left click. Yep, even more specific there. I was just looking for alt. That's what I had written down in my notes. How are you so fast? I'm sure the internet connection plays a little bit of a hey, it sways it a little bit here. Whoever's got the lowest ping. Don't know for the rest, but the delay for me is you said we were given a heads up time to get ready, and before you finish saying that, the question appeared. Okay. I'll try and wait a little bit longer, just so that way everyone can be ready. Use it from time to time, but before I could even read the first word, you said that people already answered. Okay. Yeah, yep. The internet's definitely gonna make an impact, but still fun to do. All right. All right, so I have another one here. So we gotta get ready. Now we gotta stall for a little while to make sure that everyone's ready. So far it's tied between 3 people. All right, gonna paste this in, and here we go. Which expression is used to reference the last frame of a Fusion composition? And this one is case sensitive. I forgot to mention that. Has to be right. There we go. CFOP cubing does have the case sensitive version first. I should have mentioned that first. I was like, I need to give the requirements right away. But yes, the only expression that will work is the one CFOP said there. Comp.renderN. The C is lowercase. The R and E are uppercase. That means he's beating you, Tyler. Yep, he's got 2. Beat Tyler for me. Picard's like, I don't care if I win, as long as Tyler loses. You learned that from me? That's all. Well, that's the pattern that you're going to notice here. This is all stuff that I've talked about in videos for the most part. From the expressions video. Yeah, ResolveCon. Yep. Exactly, Jake. I'm banning Picard, then adding him back and banning him again. Doing it once isn't enough. Oh, man. All right. So, we're going to do another one here. This one will be cool. We'll see. I have a feeling not many people are going to have the exact same answer, and that's what's going to be fun about this one. All right. So, to give it just a little bit more time here. All right. Here goes the next one. B. Oops, too early. All right. What is the last node needed in every 3D scene? Trying to guess. He thought it was a keyboard shortcut. Nicholas Media's got it right away. The Renderer 3D. It is not the Render 3D, not the 3D Renderer. It is the Renderer 3D. I wish it was the Render 3D. It's so much easier to say. Media out? Okay, you got me on a technicality there, William. But no, I was going for Renderer 3D. Yep, it's not the Render 3D node there, Tyler. Injustice. All right, so we have a new contender on the scoreboard here. So Tyler's got 1. CFOP Cubing is in the lead with 2. Scape Edits with 1. And Nicholas Media with 1 as well. I said last node, but yeah, I know. But I was trying to say like in the 3D scene. So at the end of the 3D scene, you need the Render 3D node. So technically you're right. You know what, William, I'll give you a point for that. William also has 1. All right. So next question coming in here. Here we go. No, output does not count because William beat you to it. So now I got William saying I'm awesome. All right, next question is coming in here. Here we go. What is the current version of DaVinci Resolve? This one will be fun. Oh, Nicholas Media. The exclamation mark. Oh, so William got this one. Oh. Poly 19.2.1. Build 3, we're not going that specific. All right, so William's at 2. Look at this comeback. Maybe I shouldn't have given you that point. You live in the future? Yeah, I gotta actually make sure a new version of DaVinci Resolve didn't come out like right as we're doing that question. That'd be kind of awkward. Tyler, I'm gonna send you a screenshot right now, right? You were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. Gotta send that to you. There we go. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. Or law. That's not how you spell lawyer. All right. Yeah, you stayed in an older version because of the update. Yep, I don't blame you. I'm in 19.1.1 as well. All right, next question is coming in. This one will be a cool one. We'll see how many people get it. This one was not talked about in any of my videos. If I give you guys some hints. Just trying to stall the time so that way the delay isn't too bad. So here we go. We're ready. There's a question. Before Blackmagic Design purchased it in 2014, which company developed the program? Fusion. Sorry. I wrote that question wrong. But yeah, Scape Edits has it right. Ion. Eeyore? Is that that's kind of what yours looks like there, Tyler. Avatar Studios. Do they own Ion? But yes, Ion Software was the owner. So Scape Edits has another point here. All right. So Tyler's got 1. CFOP Cubing has 2. Scape Edits has 2. William Justice has 2. And Nicholas Media has 1. He made a typo. Avatar Studios. That's pretty good. All right. All right, so for this next one, I'm gonna be a little bit more strict on this one. The capitalization needs to match how it is inside of Fusion. Okay. Everything else is fine. You'll understand it when I post the question, but the capitalization must be exact. All right, and so I can say this, we're talking about nodes in this one. You do not need to add the number after the node. You know, like if I add in a renderer 3D, how it says renderer 3D 1, just ignore that. You don't need that to be there. All right, so now I just got to give it a little bit more time so everyone hears the disclaimer and rules on this one. All right, so here we go. What are the 4 main shape nodes in the shape system, ignoring text, polygon, and B-spline? So the nodes that generate these shapes. This one will take a little while. You got to type it out. This is the big answer. The Joker Man got it first here, I think. Oh, no. Never mind. Oh, you guys are going to be so upset with me. I got to make sure my... I'm going to double check this. Yep, okay. No one's got it yet. We're close, but it's not right. Yeah, see you guys are gonna be mad at me for this one. I don't know if I'm being too strict. We can vote on it after. William's got it. William got it correct. So a bunch of you, so we like CFOP Cubing got all the shapes right, but didn't have the S. And then was it Scape Edits had the S's capitalized. The Joker Man had everything right except for the G in the Ngon node. It was not capitalized. And William had it the same way. Someone else had it the same way. But William is the first one to get it with all the capitalization. Exactly right. Oh, you did spell S rectangle wrong. I don't know. What do we do for this one? Because I gave the answer out now. Do we give it to the first person that got just the G wrong? Picard coming in here. Or do we just give it to Picard because he did technically get the right answer first? This one might have been a little too strict. You added the correct version later? Yeah, but rectangle was spelled wrong at the end of it. Are we allowed only one answer? I mean, no, it's just the first person to get the answer, but do we give it to Joker Man here for getting really close? Because this was the trick question. I wanted everyone to mess up on the S Engan. All right, we get yeah. You got it right though the second time. Where is it at? S Engan S star. But the G isn't capitalized in the S Engan. Oh, there we go. You got it. Oh, Tyler did get it before William. Never mind. I'm sorry. I missed that one. the chat's so confused. All right, so we have to give that one to Tyler then. Tyler's back up to 2. Well done. Wampus will take the point. He'll fall on the blade. Great sacrifice there. Take a point away from Jake. All right, so I have -1 here. Yeah, I missed Tyler's answer there. Jake, you're taking one of my points, Tyler. I'm giving you a point. I'm banned. I'm giving you a point. I know the chat's delayed here, and this was when I wasn't giving you a point. How much is he paying you? It's between me and Tyler. All his profits from tax rebates. All right, so here's the scoreboard. Tyler's at 2. CFOP Cubing is at 2. Scape Edits is at 2. And Williams at 2. And then Nicholas Media is at 1. And we have 2 questions left. All right? So we'll have to figure something out for a tiebreaker if it comes to that. All right. So coming in for the next one. Let's see. And Picard at 3, right? I don't have you on my list for some reason. Must be wrong. I don't know. I just got really confused because I added up all the points and was at 9. And I'm like, I have 2 questions left, but then I remembered we split one. All right. Next question is coming in here. This one I do not care about it being like exact. Just as long as I know what you're talking about, we're good. All right, here we go. Which node lets you wrap text around a shape? We'll see how many people get this one. This one will be interesting. CFOP Cubing, Text Plus, he got it right away. Yep, the text node allows you to wrap it around a shape. Yeah, technically the Bender 3D, that would have been a correct answer as well. But yep, text plus is what I was going for. It's a little bit of a trick question there. All right, so CFOP's at 3. Yeah, but your answer was later, so sorry, Tyler. First to answer the question. Bender 3D for non-tech stuff. Yeah. All right, so right now CFOP is winning, but someone can tie for first place. And then we have to figure out some tiebreaker. All right. All right, so last question here is coming in. This one as well. We're gonna do it since it's the last one. I need all of the capitalization to match the node. And I'm going to be strict about it, just like I was for the S Engan. So all of the capitalization must match how it is inside of Fusion. So someone else other than CFOP has to get it for it to be a tie. All right. Polygon. No, that was not the answer. All right, here we go. Which 3D node is used to display the tracking points from a camera tracker? Let's see what we got. As it's coming in here, CFOP has it. Look at that. And then right after it, Scape Edits and the Joker Man came in as well. Point Cloud 3D. The P, C, and D are all capitalized. There we go. You stink at 3D? The reason I did that one is because I just did a video in the Iron Man HUD video using that system. So, Point Cloud 3D. So congratulations. CFOP, do you already have Editor Collection, or can we get you hooked up with a copy of that? That's a nice victory, winning by 2. Final score was CFOP cubing at 4, Tyler at 2, Scape Edits at 2, William Justice at 2, and Nicholas Media at 1. Picard claims he has 3, but it's not on my sheet, so. You don't yet. This is awesome. All right. Do you want to go on my website, hit that contact button, reach out, just so I have your email, and I will get you hooked up with that. So that'll be awesome. Yep, get you set up with Editor Collection. Really cool tool. And maybe we can do that. We can look at some Editor Collection stuff for a little while here, because I do have to finish editing the video for tomorrow. And I'm on the effects part of it, so maybe we could do that. Or if anyone has any questions, is there anything that we want to dive into and look at inside of Fusion? I'm still good to go for a little while here live, so yeah, might as well make use of the time. Editor Collection rocks. Thank you, Tyler. You'll hack into my scoreboard and give you a second. I don't know. It's on Word on my computer, so if you can do that, that's pretty scary. It's not like it's my Google Docs or something like that. Your question is, why does Resolve not work? I'm going insane. What are you trying to do? I don't remember if you had mentioned that before, but yeah, it's probably something you're doing. I'll just say that. But yeah, so we can hop into DaVinci Resolve here. Oh, and again, the other thing is any suggestions for the Fusion Friday series. If there's anyone new here, it's a series starting tomorrow that we just go over some fundamental Fusion thing. It's going to be really cool. If you have any suggestions, that'd be awesome. It's the same for you in Fusion. You don't know what's happening. Well, if you can get into it and copy the Fusion comp that you have, just like select all the nodes, send it over and I can take a look. Unless it has media, then I can't. On both your PCs, it's crashing. Picard, for you, is it just one project, or is it any project? Because that can make a difference as well. Like if there's some effect on there. I'd like to know more stuff about the displacement node personally. That'd be a fun one to look at. Jaka, what kind of other stuff are you looking to know about that? Like, is there a certain application or just general knowledge about it? Any project. That is so weird. Have you tried, like, updating drivers and stuff like that? I assume you've done all that. Well, I guess it's any PC. Yeah, that's strange. Any project, any PC. Maybe just try doing a, like, fresh install. Yeah, okay, clean install studio drivers. That's crazy. I don't know. Maybe that's a forum request. All right, so we're gonna talk about the displace node a little bit. We can cover that while other questions and stuff roll in. Tyler had a project corrupt on him, had to call in the Phoenix for an assist. Did he get it working? That's the question. Black Magic Design is clueless as well. Yeah, that's weird. Just make a burner account on the forum. Want to know more about the S Boolean and S expand combo? Magic to you. Yeah, those are awesome nodes. We can talk about that. Yeah, it got fixed eventually. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to be displacing Tyler in this short segment here. Not Tyler himself, just the word Tyler. Sorry for the confusion on that. All right. But yeah, so the displace node is really cool. It takes a input image, if I can add it in. Man, that's embarrassing. All right. So it has the input image, the yellow input, that's all pretty basic, and then it has a green input, which is the displacement map. All right. Let's start with the background node using this as displacement. And what I'll do with this is set this to be a gradient. Okay. And we're gonna put that at the bottom and at the top. So we have a gradient. Okay. If I plug that into the displace node and start playing with the refraction strength, you can see what it's doing. For the radial one, it starts in the middle and then kind of works its way out in all the directions. It is using the Luma channel. So if you hover your mouse in here down in the bottom left, you can see when something's white, the luminance is all at 1. When it's black, it's all at 0. So in areas that are brighter, it's going to have more displacement. So up towards the top, it's going to have more displacement when we play around with this refraction strength. Then the offset, what that does is it'll move like its starting position. So that comes in more into play when we're using the X and Y as well. You bet if Phoenix takes a look at it, it'll be fixed within a second. Yeah, he's just going to look at it, and DaVinci's like, I'm going to work. I'm working. It's fine. Tyler deported. Delete the Tyler node. Delete the entire project just to make sure all other projects won't get damaged. That's going to be the outro for your new video. Delete the Tyler node. What's the new video? Do we get a sneak peek to know what it is? That'd be cool. Yeah. We can let's delete the Tyler here and change this to display so that way we know what we're talking about. But yeah, I mean, this is already a cool effect, just having it displace up. And then when I move the actual points in the background node, you can see it changes it. So when it's solid white, there's no difference in the displacement. So it's locked off, it just looks really flat. So usually you don't want that effect. You want it to be nice and smooth. But that's something you can do. So another thing that we have is the X and Y. So when you do X and Y offset and I use the X refraction, I can just displace it on the horizontal axis and just displace it on the vertical axis. So vertical is not going to do too much right now, but horizontal is. So let's take this background node and then just set the top point to be right above the text, and same with the bottom point, just so it's a little more intensive in effect without having to crank these sliders too much. And then, yeah, you can just move this back and forth down at the bottom where it's black. It's not going to displace at all. So it looks like this, the bottom of the P, it just looks like it's anchored there. And then the top will move back and forth. And then using the X offset, I can kind of slide that back and forth as well. So yeah, super, super cool with that. And then if I flip this around, so let's say I do it from this side over here, we can use the Y refraction and it displaces that. One thing you'll notice is that the channels are set to red and green as opposed to luminance, but in this case it doesn't matter because the red channel is still going from 0 to 1 in white, because 1, all the color values are at white, or at 1, sorry. So between red and luminance, it's going to give me the exact same result. So a cool way to do this, and this is something I think I'm doing a video on pretty soon here, is talking about glitch maps inside of Fusion. And this will also tie into the video tomorrow. But instead of using the mosaic blur like a lot of people do, I like doing it totally inside of Fusion, and it has a couple of benefits doing it that way. But after a fast noise node, I can add in a resize. And with this resize, what I want to do is set the filter method to be nearest neighbor. Okay? And then in the fast noise node, I can come to the image and then just lower this resolution like crazy. And if I look in the resize node, you can start to see all of the blocks, right? So we can create a glitch map right inside of Fusion like a mosaic blur would. So yeah, we'd want to, crank up the contrast here just to make this a little bit more. And I got to turn off auto proxy because that's annoying me. But yeah, so then you can just use this to change, what your glitch map actually looks like. And the reason that we need to change the filter method is because if it's linear, it just tries to smooth it all out. Okay, so it needs to be nearest neighbor, or box I think works too. But you could take this, you could plug this into the displace, and then using these refractions, you can do some, some cool glitch effects like that. Because again, it's working on the white and the black values. So yeah, that's pretty cool about the displace node. If you have any more questions about that, I think that's a pretty good overview. And then we could jump into the S Boolean, and was it the expand node? All right, let's catch up on chat here. You're using DaVinci Resolve wrong. Episode 1. Oh, it's an episode. It's a series. So you're starting a series here too. That's awesome. Inputs matter. First time seeing the displace node in action. This is actually pretty amazing. This is the first time you've seen it? That's pretty crazy. It's an awesome node. I use it all the time. It's in all of my glitch titles, if you guys have seen those. The same system that I'm showing off is the basic concept behind these to drive the glitch animations. It's just a bunch of those different fast noise layers to give like the small ones, the big blocks, a few different details. Same thing with the slide animation. This is all a displace node with the refraction amount animated and fast noise. So, and I have a tutorial on how to make this effect. It's like awesome 3D glitch or something like that. So that's a cool one to check out. It's a bit older, but still good information. Displace rocks, especially if you do it in 3D. Yes, there's a 3D displace node that works as well. I think it just also has a Z refraction that you can use. Actually, no, that one just has a scale. That one's really cool. I've used that before, that I displace an image plane. So you can go through. I don't think the tutorial is public anymore, but I did a thing that like I took DaVinci Resolve like a screen recording, and then I went through and masked out the windows. So like I masked out the viewer, maybe the playback bars and stuff like that. And so I just had like another render that was just white blocks around the screen. And I put that into an image plane, or the video into an image plane, and then I put that map that I made into a displace node, so I could have certain sections on the screen look like they were 3D and popping out. It was pretty cool. But yeah, the 3D displace node is awesome. I guess we can show that here real quick. I gotta find some media to use. Yeah. You guys will probably find this interesting. So let's say I wanted this, the preview screen in Fusion here to pop out. I could add in a rectangle mask. And then we're gonna fit this up, get it kind of close. All right, so now we just have a render that, like the white indicates where we want it to pop out. Throw this into a background node, put the image onto an image plane so it's in 3D. Then add in the displace. I can't type displace today, man. Displace 3D node and put the background into that. And then using the, why is it not working? Oh, the background's set to black, that's why. Yeah, if you set it to white, this section will pop out. So bring the scale down. So I just had this like really subtle effect. And then to get it so it's not like slanted like that, we need to come into the image plane and crank the subdivisions. So you gotta set this to something crazy. But then you can have it like pop out. Gotta make this mask a little bit smaller. Yeah, so then if you do like a 3D screen effect looking at it. And so I would do this with a bunch of windows on like a website with like the buttons popped out. So pretty cool. All right, gotta catch up with the chat here. Putting a lot of production. Oh, that's the new video. That's cool. What does nearest neighbor mean? What does it do? I think I answered that one already. It's a different type of filter method. That's one of the other Fusion Friday videos. I want to talk about filter methods, but I have to research that a little bit more. That's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, displace node is awesome. It's Fusion's version of AE's turbulent displacement. Yep. Mainly text background and transform. Yeah, displace is one of those things that you can create some cool text effects with, like just like a subtle glitch. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. Just setting up the fast noise with this. How I would normally do this if I just wanted a small glitch is I would make this like a pretty fine, like a kind of thin line like that, and then crank the contrast and bring the brightness down so that way we just don't see as much. Oh, here's one other thing to keep in mind. So with fast noise nodes, a lot of times, like if I'm hovering my mouse, you probably can't see it, but the color values are all at -3. So that'll mess up like displace nodes and stuff like that. So if you just come to the image tab and set this to be integer 16, it'll lock it at 0 to 1 values. So that's a really nice thing in Fusion to know. So if a node's ever not performing how you'd expect, but yeah, just like that, you can create a kind of cool displace effect. Can you explain why using a background node and changing the alpha is the best way to color grade in DaVinci? I guess I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I'd say the best way to color grade in DaVinci is to use the color page. The best reason for using a background node is just to generate a transparent image, like when you bring the alpha down, which is useful for a large number of effects. He got there eventually. He got it. Yeah, we can talk about the S-Boolean node. I really like this node. It's pretty cool. And they've added some new features to it as well. All right, so let's say we have a few shapes. So you have a S rectangle and a S ellipse. And you want there to be a square cutout in the middle of your circle. So we want this to be cut out. That's what a Boolean node is for. So if we do S-Boolean and connect this up, what it's going to do is only show the region where they intersect at first. Okay. But if we come in the Boolean, we can set this to be subtract, and it does the inverse of that. So we can subtract something from a shape. There's a few other modes here. Let's see, union. Union just like fuses them together. It's basically like a merge node. But the nice thing is you could override the style of both of them right away. And then you could also do XOR, which is when they intersect, it doesn't show anything. So those are two really cool modes that you can use. And the other thing that they just changed is, let's say I have color set in both of these. You can see it's not transferring. But in the S-Boolean, you can set it to keep styles. So that way, whatever shape is showing, it'll just keep that style and not override it. So pretty cool with this one. S-Expand is even easier. All that one does is takes the shape and expands it out in all directions. And then you can change like the point style. So you could shrink this down. Is this like the Burger King logo? Did I accidentally make the Burger King logo, or am I going crazy? All right, it doesn't have the stuff on the side, but it has the text. I feel like I made some logo here. I don't know. Looks like a Pokemon. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, make it yellow. Can I extrude the result of the boot? Yeah, that's the nice thing about shapes, is that it's all non-destructive. Like I can come in here, add in a S jitter, and then change the rotation of those two shapes individually, just randomly. My one complaint with this node is I wish Pepsi, that could be it too. Pepsi. That was not quite as, I think Pokemon is the one I was thinking of. I don't know. Whatever. It bears resemblance to a couple of logos. But anyways, my complaint with the S jitter node is you have fixed or random. So if you set fixed, it just puts it at a random rotation and keeps it there. If you set random, it'll change it every frame. There's no in between. I want there to be like a seethe and a seethe rate, like you would find in the fast noise node. Because then this jitter node would be used all the time. But right now, no one uses it because it doesn't really have a purpose. But Asher, welcome. It's a Magnemite Pokemon. See, I never did much Pokemon stuff, so I don't know all this. Let's look this up. That's funny. That's pretty good. Was S-Jitter something you used on your latest HUD videos? I feel like I've seen it, but never actually used it. Yes, I actually did use this for kind of an interesting thing. I think I demoed that in the video, but essentially I took a rectangle and then I shrunk it down. Let's make this bigger so that way you can see it. And then I used a S-Grid node. This wouldn't have been my latest HUD video. This would have been the one making the actual HUD graphics. But essentially I made like a barcode looking design. And then using the S-Jitter, I use this to offset the Y size and then set this to be random so I get like a moving barcode. And this looks a lot better when it's like scaled way down. But yeah, I use that in some of the graphics. But I would love if we could have this be like a smooth transition like you would see, you know, in the fast noise. You can just set the see-through rate and it smoothly transitions to those different spots. So that would be awesome. I've put a feature request on the forums for that. If questions are welcome, is it possible to get retime and scaling on the fusion compositions in the edit page? I'm trying to find a way for images to get the fill scaling without manually adjusting. Do we have another question that we were talking about before I do that one? Oh yeah, how to make a perfect square with the rectangle mask nodes. So this is funny. This because I'm talking about this in my video tomorrow. But two ways to do it. What you want to do is divide the height by your aspect ratio. So 0.5 divided by 16 multiplied by 9. Sorry. You multiply by 16 divided by 9. And then you get a perfect square. So you can set this up just by adding a simple expression on the height. Tie that to width and then multiply by 16 divided by 9. And now it's always going to be a square. And then you can also do the inverse in the shape system. You can do an expression on the height, but divide by 16 multiplied by 9. And now I have something that matches my aspect ratio. So and then if you also want it to be project independent, you could grab some expressions for my expression cheat sheet and fill those in. Yeah, divided by 16 multiplied by 9. Yeah, sorry, going kind of fast. In the shape system, it is divided by 16 multiplied by 9. In the rectangle mask, it's multiplied 16 divided by 9. I'll just send it. You have to invert it depending on the one that you're working in. We'll try it out. All right, let's go back to that one question about scaling. So get images to fill scaling without manually adjusting. What's the context of this? Like, are you? Because in Fusion, if I were to, let's say, I'm just gonna delete all this stuff here. So let's say I have a text node, and I scale the text all the way up. Okay. I am working in a 1920 by 1080 project. If I set this down to be like 500 by 200, when I go back to the edit page, it automatically scales it up to fit, even though it's a lower resolution. So if you're just working with media, as long as it's the base layer going into the media out, and your output canvas is not the project resolution, it'll automatically scale it up on the edit page. So I guess I would need a little bit more context to figure out what you're trying to do there. All right, how to get it perfectly diagonal, as is when using the rectangle node going from the left bottom corner to the right top corner and then only filling half the screen. Any expression for that? Yes, or modifiers. We'll come back to that. Fusion comps with images that aren't the same resolution as the timeline, so they're not full screen. Okay, the other way that you can do this, let me find an image that is not the project size. Again, this is something I'm talking about in tomorrow's video, so I'm going to answer it, but you guys got to go watch the video tomorrow. It'll have a lot more information and be broken down a little bit slower. All right, so let's say it's a screenshot or something that you're working with. So this, like, if you're, let's put this on a background node. So if you merge it up, it's not gonna fit. I think this is what you're talking about. What you can use is two nodes, the crop and resize node. So the first one that we want to do is the resize node to get it up to the composition size. Okay. You see already it brought it up full screen. This is not perfect right now because it might be stretching this image. It's hard to see because it's really close, but essentially what you want to do is set this resize to be keep frame aspect. All right, so that way it doesn't stretch or distort the image at all. Otherwise, if this is turned off, it could easily stretch it and change its scale. So resize node with keep frame aspect. Then what you want to do is make sure none of the values in here, in either 1920 or in this case 1196, are bigger than your composition one. So essentially whatever the lowest one is, in this case 1080, that's what you want to set the lowest one over here to be, or that's what you want to set the height to be. So long story short, type in 1080 into the height, so that way the top of this image is not getting cut off on your screen. Okay. And then, so it still isn't quite perfect. This would totally work, but you can add in a crop node and set this to be keep centered. So now with these two nodes, we've changed this image to be the correct resolution and the correct aspect ratio. So that way you don't run into any problems. And I'll cover more about that in tomorrow's video and why you would want to do that. But yeah, I think using those two nodes is going to get you the result that you're looking for. All right, let's talk about the diagonal thing. That's pretty cool. I've done this a few times. I have to remember exactly how to do it. But if we use a rectangle node, what we're going to want to do is have the width and height set to 1. And essentially, we're going to want to have it turn the angle and position it off to the side. We're going to need more width. Set that to 5. We want to position this so that both of these corners will touch the... Here, let's do it this way. The first step is setting it up so it can automatically figure out this angle, right? So no matter what the composition resolution is, it can draw that point. And this is actually really easy to do. So if you right click on the angle, modify width, we want to do offset angle, I believe. Yeah, look at that. It's got it right away. So essentially what we need to do, keep the position at 0.5, set the offset to be 0 and 0. So that way it puts the corner down in the bottom and it figures out the angle between these two points. So it's always going to draw it to the corner. If you want to switch it around, you could type in 1 in the offset, so it draws it between this corner. So you can draw that line just like that. Okay. So that part's pretty easy. The next part is where it gets a little bit more complicated, I think. Because we have the angle, but when the height expands, we only want it to go off in one direction, essentially. So under the center, we got a, Is this not making sense? Yeah, if I explain something too fast, let me know. But we have a offset. Let's see. Yeah, I'll go over that again. Let's do it. All right. On the angle, we're going to right click and do modify width and grab the offset angle modifier. What this one does is you give it 2 points and it figures out what the angle is between those points. Okay, so it does some math in the background without you having to write out the expression. All right. So point A is position. So we're just going to leave that in the center of the screen. And then the offset is the other point that it draws the angle between. So as I move this around, you can see it's always drawing the angle between these 2 points. So if we just put this in one of the corners, like 0, 0, it's going to automatically draw the angle between the bottom left of the screen and the middle of the screen, which will give us a perfect angle going out. You could even set the position to be, 1, 1. So as long as it's in both of the corners, it draws that angle. But the position can also be 0.5, so we don't need to change that. The offset, if you set the X to be 1, or I guess the Y to be 1, it'll put it in the opposite corner, so that way the angle is inverted and going in the opposite direction. So hopefully that makes sense, that we broke that down a little bit more. But like I was starting to mention, the problem that we're running into now is if you only want this to draw on the top right side of the screen up here, we can't do that because when you change the height, it expands in both directions. So we're gonna dive into fixing that. But let me check chat to make sure this is working now. Yes, you can rewatch the stream later. Taking notes for macros. Yep. This stuff is so useful. I'm trying to think of what macros I've used this in. I think there's a few of my titles that I've used it in. I don't remember what else. But yeah, I've used this one for a bunch of stuff. You don't have a response to that other half? That's funny. But yes, welcome to the stream. What? You've been here for a little while. Yeah. All right. I've been doing this manually for so long, and it's a pain. Yeah, it's going to be so easy once you see this, especially because you're going to save it. All right, so let's talk about getting this to go right, or go in the right direction. So we don't need to put anything on the height. We need to put it on this center X and Y. So if we do modify width, and then do, let's see, what do we need? Vector result is what we want. This angle needs to be set to that same thing that the last one was. Okay, so if I right click on this, we're going to connect it to offset on rectangle to angle and then do angle. So all that's going to do is make it so the angle and the rectangle and the angle and this vector modifier are both connected to that offset modifier, if you follow. All right, so we got that negative 29 degrees. And now what we can do, let's see. I'm thinking about this wrong. Here's, because this needs to be inverted. So we're going to look at another cool trick here. In the angle, we need to right click and do insert. What this is going to do is this is going to put a modifier in between two modifiers. Or yeah, it's going to put a modifier in between. So right now this angle is connected to the offset. We're going to add one in between. So it goes offset, our new modifier, and then it puts it in the control. Okay? So we're going to go insert, and then we're just going to do calculation, I think is what we want. Yep. So we have the first operator, which is the result of our offset modifier, so negative 29. And what we're going to do is add 90 degrees to offset it. Sorry, no. I'm thinking about this wrong. What do we want to do? This is the fun part about doing it live, because we want to make this positive. So how do we do this? All right, let's do this. Instead of doing that on the angle, we're going to do negative, and then we're going to do rectangle 2 dot angle. Let's do that. And then this should work. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so ignore everything I said. Inserting modifiers, that's really cool. Multiply by -1. That's what I was looking for. Yes, let's set it up that way because that's cool. My brain's slowly starting to die here. All right, so if you modify or connect it to that offset, to the angle, so now this is linked to that same offset modifier, we can right click on it and do insert, and then we're going to do a calculation. Okay, and for the operator mode, we're going to do multiply and do it by -1. All right, so in our new vector, let's go back from the beginning. So on the center X and Y, we have a vector modifier. And in the vector modifier, this angle is connected to this calculation modifier. The calculation modifier is multiplying the result of our offset modifier by -1, so it inverts it. So instead of being negative 29, it's going to output 29. All right, if we can all follow that. And now all we need to do is tie this distance to that height. So if I do expression and do rectangle 2 dot height divided by 2, oh, that's not going to be perfect. How do we do this? Let's see. Yeah, I think this is what we need to do. In the image aspect, we're going to do... We'll come back and explain this. Let me just make sure it works. Cool. So this is the result that we have. So now it'll perfectly match that angle, even if I change the resolution. Oh, it's not. Okay, it's not doing it because of that thing that I just did. All right, let's talk about that. So for the image aspect, this is important when you're dealing with resolutions. 1920 by 1080, those are not the same. So Fusion works in the coordinate system, right? If I add in a transform node, when I do 0 in the X, it's going to offset it more than if I had just put 0 in the Y, right? Because, 1920 is farther than just 1080. So a lot of Fusion's modifiers have these aspects, so that way it can convert from the height to the width, so that way they work seamlessly together. So if you do 16 divided by 9, that is 1.777 repeating, and that is the default for all of these image aspects. So in this case, what we need to do is flip that around, because it's trying to apply that height control to the width, essentially, is what's happening. So how Fusion figures this out in the back end is it'll multiply the width by 1920, and it'll multiply the height by 1080. So we need to tell it to flip this around. So under image aspect, we do 9 divided by 16, which gives us the inverse. So 0.55625, and then that will give us the correct result. So hopefully that makes sense. This is all pretty complicated stuff. But if you just use those expressions and throw them in, you're able to get the result that you're looking for. Expressions are so dope. Modifiers are so dope. Yep. They're pretty good. So much new stuff. That's awesome. Yep. Multiply by -1. That was a good tip. And Resolve just crashed again. Perfect. Definitely going to rewatch this tomorrow. Yeah, write it down, write notes, because this is always stuff that you have to revert back to. And with the 9 by 6 divided by 16, 16 divided by 9, I never remember which one's the correct one. So I'll just type in a couple until I get the result that I'm looking for. So just try it out. It's going to be so helpful for macros. Yeah, I mean, I use that all the time, in something like my corner camera preset. It's doing all these calculations in the background, like for the aspect ratios. So if I do an example here, FX, webcam. So I run those expressions so that way it has perfect spacing from both sides, right? Because if I were to, just do that normally, if I come in here and grab a rectangle, even if I make this to be a square, what do I have to do? 0.5 times 16 divided by 9. There we go. So even if it's a square, and I position it so it has the same offset down to the bottom, the X and Y values aren't the same. So using expressions, I'm able to calculate all that in the background. So even though it's a different aspect ratio, it's able to get the correct offset on both sides. You want to see me do a type test? All right. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Oh, got to sign in for that one. All right, we're going to do it. We're going to see. Oh, it's going to be full of ads now. All right, we're going to do a 30-second test. We'll see how bad this is. The thing is, I mess up all the time. And we'll see how crazy this storyline is that they set up. Okay. Did they spell surprise wrong there? Yeah, I'm doing bad. Let's see what we got. Oh, if I have to put an email in. Oh, it's playing an ad. Why is my ad blocker not on? There we go. Much better. Oh, it says up in the top, words per minute 82. That's funny. Maybe. Oh, by accuracy. Okay. 74. Yeah, so many ads. So annoying. What expression do you use to get the same offset no matter the aspect ratio? It's basically just a different version of that same thing. uBlock Origin got taken down off Chrome. I did not know that. Probably because of the whole YouTube thing. Yeah, I use AdGuard. I've always used that. All right, so let's say we want to position something down in the bottom corner. That's really easy to figure out, right? In my tools, I would do like edit controls and add in like a padding control that I could use. And set this to be a slider control with, let's say, 0 to 0.2. All right, so we have a new control here. So it's easy to offset like the width and height. So I could come in here with an expression and do 0 plus width divided by 2. So that way it puts it right on the edge of the screen. Do the same thing plus height divided by 2. All right. So that gets it perfect. And I could change the size of it. No problems there. All right. Then if I want to do padding, so I can add padding, and then I'm going to come to the end and add padding as well, plus padding. So when I start to add this, you'll notice that, like at the beginning, it's hard to notice, but farther away, I guess not really. The distance isn't the same. And that's because we're working in the different, or it has a different aspect ratio. If it was like a square aspect ratio, this would work totally fine. But anyways, how we can offset this is the padding on the height is too low. So if we multiply this by 16 divided by 9, it'll multiply it by 1.777 repeating, and now it's going to visually look like it's the same distance, because it is. So just using that simple expression, you can do it. And my tools, I have it actually grab the composition width divided by the composition height, so that way it works in any aspect ratio or any resolution. But for just personal projects, you can just do multiply by 16 divided by 9. So, and if you want those expressions, it's on my website under the expressions. Hey, that is a really simple expression. I will send that to you as well. The expressions get complicated really quick. I think on my website too, I have those expressions pre-built out. Let's see here. That's not normal. Are you talking about the typing speed or the ads? AdGuard used to block YouTube ads, but I pay for premium now, so I don't know. But I know it used to. Pi ad blocker for a few weeks seems to work fine. It's supposed to show you some non-intrusive ads and they share payment with you. Oh, that's kind of nice. Brave, the Brave browser kind of does the same thing. That is not a simple expression. It's a simple expression. It's doing 4 pieces of addition and 1 thing of multiplication and 1 thing of division, technically. What's the worst expression you've done? Like as far as complexity goes? Yeah, on my website here, I have width divided by height. So what this one is, it's this expression multiplied by this one. So I could copy this and then come in here, and instead of doing 16 divided by 9, I could paste this in. So that way, no matter what the aspect ratio is, it'll do the same thing. So that's how I would set it up. Go through your projects and just do it, multiplied 16 divided by 9 just to do it quick, and then fill it in with expressions after. All right, let's see. Going back to chat. Magic Anime V2 uses so many expressions and gets so complex. Yeah. I have my whip animate, which is kind of the similar version of that. And a lot of expressions. So I have that one set up too. Just to kind of speed things up, I have my Anim Engine framework, which is something that when I was doing some editor collection updates and getting ready for an EditorTitles update, I redesigned the whole thing. So it's a standard that I use in like all my tools that has fully customizable animations. And if you've used them, you know what that is. Just for basic stuff here, let's use whip zoom. So if I add this in, we got to delete the camera effect. The Anim Engine has the ability to turn on and off the in and out animations. You can change how long the animations actually take to animate, as well as if there's any offset for when they start. But in addition to that, you could say when you set it to custom, it would take 2 seconds to animate in. So slow animation at the beginning, but then only 1 second to animate out. So that's what the anim engine is. A lot of my tools have all that built in. And so there's a couple expressions that go behind the scenes to using that. In whip animate, like that's already really complicated as it is. Let me get like a logo or something that we can use here. All right, if you have a DaVinci Resolve logo, let's say this. So whip animate, it expands on this like crazy. So it has our global anim engine right here. And if I enable the size animation, why is it not working? Oh, I think I know why. Okay, there it goes. My storage server, the drives were spinning up, so it wasn't able to load this logo right. All right, so I enabled the size. It zooms in, no problem. I can change how long the animation takes using all those same controls. But I could also come down and say animate the rotate. So now it rotates and animates on. Where this one gets crazy is in each one of these, size, position, rotate, any of them, I can press this unlink animation. So now it has a second anim engine. In this anim engine, like I could offset it by 1. So that way what happens is it'll scale up and then it'll do the rotate. So each one of those can have its own custom animation, all in the same tool, no keyframes. It has a full anim engine. And that goes beyond just expressions, that's some scripts. So it'll actually change the expression on certain things. But those ones are probably the most complicated. YouTube Premium's the best. Yep. I did update the expression site. Yes. When I did ResolveCon, I was working on an update for my whip template site, and so I didn't put much time into it because I knew the new one was coming, and then that's when I did the nice one. You base some anim engines I've made based on that general look you'd use, although mine uses different tech behind the scenes. Yeah. Going to sleep, enjoy the live stream. Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you later, Picard. Thanks for stopping by. You need to make a whiplash transition. I missed that message there. That's funny. So I have a whip pan transition. So I don't think I can ban Tyler for making bad puns because that was one of the first tools that I made in the editor collection. Or it was in the original pack, the whip pan transition. So, yep. Good old puns. It's actually a really good transition. Like it has a lot of cool stuff. I haven't updated this since it originally came out almost 2 years ago, but yeah. So I can't ban Tyler as much as I want to. Now, if he brings up Fortnite, that's a different story. Petition to rename it to Whiplash, but Whip Pan is so good because that's what it's called. I could make a different effect called Whiplash. Like it makes everything orange or something like that. if we get that joke. Yeah, do you see someone? Let's see if I can pull this up full screen. Someone went through and took all the orange out of the Whiplash movie. To see what it looked like normally. Anyways. So it can make it orange. Instant ban. Well, yeah, does anyone else have any questions or anything else that we can dive into here? Otherwise, I got to get on to, I guess I can start working on that video. This was me. Oh yeah, I was making some like stream elements just to kind of have fun. Like I can pop up if you have any questions. It pops up full screen. It's kind of cool, nice and animated. Yeah. What else do we got? Gotta wait for it to animate off now. I could just hide it, but it has out animation. So yeah, leave a like. Make sure you leave a like. Yep. All right, I'm just gonna take that one away. What else do I have? Oh, it's only in this scene. I have the go to editor collection, go to visit that. So bring the orange back, behind the scenes footage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, look at my this is the video for tomorrow that I've started working on. That's a fun face. Yeah. All right, you have a question, but I'm not sure if you've talked about it in a video before. But is YouTube full time for you to work for a studio freelance? I am full time YouTube now, as of February last year. So coming up on 1 year being full time. It's pretty exciting. The main thing that I make my money from is whip templates. I do that because I don't really do too many sponsors or anything like that because I'd rather just sponsor my own work and promote my own products. Um, yeah, that way I can stay out of all the YouTube sponsorship controversies if something happens. But I still do video projects for companies around me. I'll do weddings throughout the year, so I get some income from that as well. But yeah, day job is YouTube and template design. Yeah, it's been awesome. Super cool. Which setting do I use on the 3D render to get a decent shadow with 3D light? You couldn't get that great a one. It's not actually a setting in the 3D render node itself. It's in the actual lights. And that's one of the annoying things in Fusion is just how bad quality that can be. And going back to Tyler's point, use Blender for this kind of stuff. But if I use a shape with a plane... All right, so let's say I have this, and then I add in a spotlight. Also, in 3D systems, use target. Turn that on, because that way it automatically gets the angle to point at whatever you set this other point to. It's pretty cool. All right. Anyways. The renderer 3D node, not the render 3D node, Tyler. Oh, another cool trick. I haven't talked about 3D for so long. This feels cool. If you right click, do camera, copy POV to camera 3D 1, it'll take your viewport angle and match the camera to it. And then in this, we can do lighting and shadows. I like to do hardware render too. It's faster and gives a better result. But in the spotlight itself, there under shadows, there is the shadow map size. So if eventually like you pull the light away too far, like the quality lowers, because however they render shadows, like I think it's just like an image. So it becomes like rough edges. So you have to bring the shadow map size up, which makes the render time take way longer. So that's not fun. But if you're getting a bad result, start playing around with those settings. Looking forward to going full time too. Yeah, 1,000 subs isn't quite enough. Yeah, I mean, I went full time at like 22,000 subscribers. But unless I have my template site, like I make like less than $100 off YouTube a month. Nowhere close to state to be full time. Oh, you can't see my screen. Shoot. Sorry about that. Oh man, I had gone through this whole stream, doing pretty good there. Source, trust me, bro. Hey. All right. Let me show you what I set up. So I have a 3D scene that has a plane, a sphere, a camera, and then a render 3D with the spotlight. That trick I was talking about, if you go in the view, right click, camera, right click, camera, copy POV to camera 3D 1. It'll copy the viewport view to the rendered view. All right. And then it just snaps it over. So pretty cool. In the render 3D node, I turn on lighting and shadows, set the render type to hardware, and then in the spotlight, the shadow map size that I was talking about is this right here. So the farther away you pull the light, you can see I pulled it away pretty far. You get those jagged edges. So in this node, if you bring up the shadow map size, it'll improve that, but take a lot longer to render. So that's what I said. I've proven my source. So take that, Tyler. Tyler has a video on compiling comping in 3D with shadows, if you wanted to link it. Oh yeah, let's do that. Comping green screen in Fusion? Or in DaVinci Resolve, is that the one you were talking about? Yeah, it's got to be. All right. That's a cool intro transition. All right, I'm getting distracted now. All right, check out that video by Tyler. Look at that. You just appear in the chair. That's fun. Don't copyright strike me. Look at that. That's cool. All right. You know, Tyler, when you sent me that video, the one you just did that had my live stream clip in it, I immediately went to my copyright page to see if I could get a screenshot of me almost like going to strike that video, but it hadn't showed up. I don't think it has yet. Yeah. So I was gonna do that to you as a joke. I was gonna pull it up. It was gonna be funny. Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool intro. Yeah. I wasn't actually gonna strike it. I was gonna like put my mouse over it and send that screenshot to you, but it would have been funny. Yeah. But this is kind of a behind the scenes of how I edit my videos. I don't just talk about editor collection. I actually use them in my videos. So I use like the zooms here, just to kind of follow what I'm talking about. And then editor titles as well. Whenever I use motion blur with those, I always render them out so that way I get real-time playback. Because I'm working in 4K, so maybe once I get my 1590 Ti, I don't have to render those out. But yeah, I always set up whip zoom with the animations turned off. That has like just for like my punch-ins, because that way I can duplicate it and turn on the in animation just to get it to animate that punch-in right away. So that's kind of fun. Throw up some more titles. This one's using that trick with character level styling. I have a video talking about that, so look that up. How you can, like, even just in a normal template, you can change like make some of the text bold. So really cool if you haven't seen that. That one's awesome. Editor collection's really useful. Save me so much time. That's awesome. So good to hear. Yeah, that's the whole goal with the pack. If it doesn't save you time, it doesn't really help too much. And that's always a pet peeve that I've had with templates and stuff like that. So, yeah. Do you have a Blackmagic camera set up at the back of your desk? Yeah. Pocket 4K right there with I think it's a Sigma 18-35 on there. Then I also have the Elgato teleprompter, which does not fit that lens or camera. So I have a kind of interesting setup to get it to fit on the end, but it's really nice. Yeah. And then we were just talking about this the other day, the Sony FX3. I gotta go full screen here. Make sure you can see it. Amazing camera. It's so nice. I just usually leave it on my desk so that way I can grab it and do stuff with it. Yep, and then my 24-70 Sony lens. It's such a good camera. Then always leave the quick release plate on the bottom so I can mount it on a I use like a glide cam or fly cam because it's the off-brand one. Something like that. Or tripod, whatever I need. But yes, amazing camera. Was wondering yesterday about cameras for this, less money than iPhone. So technically the Pocket 4K is less than an iPhone now. It's like $995 and you can spend $1,300 on an iPhone, no problem. But yeah, you need a lens and you need all the other stuff for it as well. But yeah, I mean, this camera's been amazing for like a YouTube setup. And what I always do, because it doesn't have autofocus, and that's my biggest complaint with it. I have an app. It's I think I paid for this one, but it's the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K control app. And so I can go on here and it'll connect, and then like I can just hit the autofocus button and it'll do the like one-time focus, or I can, let's see. Does that one do it? I don't know. But if I move out of the way, it'll focus on the background, and then when I'm in the middle, it can focus on my face. So I always just push that once, and that's been super helpful. Got an Arca Swiss on yours? Fits all the gear. Yeah, that's awesome. Need a teleprompter, recorded a video today with the full script and my eyes are always darting to the script. Yeah, that's something that I used to do all the time. You'd see me like, all right, today we're going to be talking about this. And my eyes would just go over right away to check. And so I had to train myself to be, all right, we're going to be talking about this. And then look over, you know. So, because otherwise between every jump cut, my eyes would dart over really quick and it was super distracting. So, yeah, I started with just a normal, like just cheap $20 teleprompter, and honestly do that. It works great. I just put my phone in there, and it came with a remote that I could like plug or connect with Bluetooth, and I could you know, I just put my phone there and it reflects into the glass, and yeah, you can do it that way. It's so nice. But if you want to spend the money, the Elgato one's awesome because I also have a Stream Deck right here. So like I just on the knobs, I can have it like scroll back in position. I can't show you because it's designed not to be seen by the camera, but don't have a teleprompter. I just go by memory. Recording takes a couple of hours. Yeah. Yep. I've always started using a teleprompter for the reason that I want to say stuff as efficiently as possible, right? Like when I'm streaming, like even a little while ago when I was doing the angle stuff, when I'm just explaining it, I get way ahead of myself, and I can leave out information quite easy and go too fast. A teleprompter forces me to slow down and remember all the details. So that's what I try and do. Yeah, otherwise I just go too fast. LTT does that too. Yeah, they're pretty crazy that like they have like the full like mobile camera and they have the teleprompter on it all the time. It's pretty funny. They just did that in one of their videos. I forgot what it was. They got like Linus to say some. I forgot what it was. They got him to insult himself because he hadn't reviewed the script. So that was pretty funny. He's a good sport about that. Yeah. You just look awkward. Like with or without a teleprompter, either way. That used to be me. I've worked on that a lot over the last couple of years, and that's honestly why I've taken a bunch of my older videos down, just because I didn't have the confidence in just yeah, or I wasn't concise with what I was saying. The iPad app has a app. The iPad has an app that does voice scrolling. Yeah, I think the Elgato one has that too, but I hate features like that, so I want to control it myself. But yeah, the Elgato one, can't recommend that one enough. Pretty much we're just really unhappy. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is it's really easy to just look bored when you're presenting something. It's kind of that, you know how they talk about like acting and stuff, I just have to give like 110%, you know, all the time. Like if it feels normal to you, you're doing it wrong. Like you have to go way above and beyond. And it's kind of the same thing with YouTube. Or just talking to a camera in general. Have more energy than you think is necessary. Yep. You remember Elgato only had the HD capture card like in 2012? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of what they were known for a long time. Just the capture cards. They've done a good job with their business last couple of years, expanding that and really creating some cool brands. I don't do too much streaming stuff normally though, so like I have a Stream Deck and I have the teleprompter, and I think that's all that I have from Elgato. Also, I switched to 30 FPS. I don't know if you guys noticed that. The stream is in 30 FPS and this video is 30 FPS as well, so we're trying that out for a little while. It feels so weird to watch this. It's too smooth. Yep, there's that camera animation going down in the video. And then I'll need to throw in a... Oh, this is the other thing. So I save custom templates with Asher Rowland's awesome tool there, Whippery Macro, that he helped me build. So for like whip zoom, I have a version of this saved that has the out animation turned off, the animation length set to 1.5, and the motion blur set to 0.4. So that's what I use in all my videos then to position it all up. So yeah, shout out to Asher Rowland there. Awesome template. That's now unfortunately broken in the free version. So Gotta figure something out with that eventually. That's not his fault, though. That's Blackmagic. Ah, you can't see my... Never happened. You saw my screen the entire time. Anyways, videos in 30 FPS. This is whip zoom. Out animation was turned off. Animation length 1.5 and motion blur set to 0.4. Oh, man. Tyler, you got to do a better job of reminding me of that. Used to record in 60 FPS and it was way too much. Yeah, and just the file sizes too. Like I shoot on Blackmagic here. This for this tutorial, let's see. It was 20 minutes long for the recording. And we're looking at, does it say in DaVinci? $86 GB. My Iron Man HUD tutorial. That one was 370 GB for just my webcam recording. Hey, I said full-time YouTube, not full-time streamer. So, got you there. Too stubborn to do 30 FPS, you like 60. Poly, I'm going to switch back to 24 now. We'll need to remake it in Python. We can use... Okay. Yeah, I mean, if we want to look into that eventually, if that's possible. And how close can that get to the current version? And is that something that's installed into DaVinci Resolve, or is that like a separate program that's installed then? I will still never compromise that 24 is better for film, like movies and stuff. And when I shoot weddings, it's always going to be 24, any commercial projects. But YouTube, one of the main reasons is because I had a few people comment, like on my editor collection stuff, that my tools look stuttery. And I'm like, it's not the tools themselves, it's the 24 FPS frame rate, and they're so used to 30 and 60 that it looks bad. So I think going to 30 is better for me, or for my business, so. HDR is so freaking weird. I switched to my iPad and your camera looks greenish, but on my TV you look perfectly normal. Interesting. Do I look greenish to anyone else? I could change my tint if it's bad. Python would need to be installed on each system by the user, so not the most beginner friendly. Okay, but then is it still like a workspace script type thing that you can do? You know, let's come down here. I've got nightlight turned on, the warm filter thing, when turning it off. So when the camera looks greenish to me. Oh, so it is a little bit green. Okay. It's popular because that's what current displays are optimized for. Yeah. And it's just smoother and like, especially non-tech people, like people that are in the tech ecosystem, but not necessarily like in the video ecosystem, see 30 and 60 and be like, higher's better. Like we've always been trained for that. 4K is better than 1080, which that's true, but in all cases, 60 is not better than 30, or 30 is not better than 24. So interesting. Yeah, I don't know if there's some weird tint on my camera. I know on this light for sure I can't do a like a, what's the word for it? Like the tint correction. Like you can move it a little bit green, move it a little bit, move it pink. Soap, welcome. You did miss the trivia, unfortunately. Yep. It's funny because the human eye can't really perceive more than 90 FPS, 2K resolution. I don't know. I can tell 4K. Like, when I'm editing here, even on my 4K monitor, if this preview is in 1080 versus, or if my project's 1080 versus 4K, I can tell the difference in this. But that's just because it's sharper. So we're not perceiving it exactly how we necessarily think. CFOP1, CFOP Gaming. What was the new series announcement? You missed that too. Yeah, Fusion Fridays. So starting tomorrow, new series that is more aimed at just fundamental Fusion systems and concepts. So Tomorrow, I'm working on the video right now. We're talking about resolution inside of Fusion. So honestly, a lot of the stuff we went over, and maybe I should have put a little bit more of that into this video, but it's a really good base level knowledge of just how resolution works and how the coordinate system works. So we'll be doing videos like that, hopefully weekly, maybe bi-weekly. Yeah, so if you have any suggestions on like cool things to go over, that'd be good. Filter methods is on the list. Domain of definition, the Fusion hotkey manager. What else do we got? Scopes in Fusion. I saw some people asking about that. Color management. Yeah, so cool stuff like that. I thought you were going to say you can't see more than 30 FPS or 15, like I've been told before. Who's told you that? That's not right. Yeah, should be some cool stuff in there. Don't get you started. You bet it was Picard. Oh man. Yeah, so it'll be interesting getting used to doing everything in 30 FPS here. I just realized on my screen we got like the matrix here. Like I'm streaming myself down in the corner in DaVinci Resolve, editing a video of me down in the corner in DaVinci Resolve. So that's kind of fun. But yeah. Oh, the other cool thing in these tools that William Justice actually helped me out with. Have you guys noticed that sometimes when going back and forth in the latest versions of DaVinci Resolve, like with Fusion compositions, it'll just go black when you're panning, but you can play back just fine? It only happens sometimes for me. And it's not like just one tool. Like certain tools will work fine, and then a few minutes later they break and it does that. So I don't know. But anyways, what I was saying is the whip pivot tool. I'm sure most of you guys have seen this. But what this one allows you to do is like if I zoom into a spot on the screen down here, I can come and whip pivot and press match, and it automatically gets that same spot. So you get the seamless transition to move it somewhere else on the screen. So that's another pretty cool feature throughout these tools. The new whip magnify tool, if you guys saw that, I didn't post that on my main channel, just the whip templates channel. This one has that same like match feature built in, so that way you can do multi-point magnify animations. So kind of fun. As well as Whip 3D camera has a match button now too. So that was fun. The worst one was a guy above me at work who's actually extremely smart, but for some reason that one big thing just didn't click on his brain. Yeah. It's funny when we set opinions on something, we don't really like to change them, even if it's wrong. Yeah, what was that movie that they did? They did some movie like maybe 4 or 5 years ago that they did in 120 or 40 FPS or something like that, and it just kind of flopped. They thought it was going to be a big thing, like changing how we do film. It was an action movie, and people just like the review was that it looked like a soap opera because it was too smooth. They weren't able to like hide punches in the cuts and do stuff like that. Oh, what was that? It was I think it was Will Smith. Will Smith movies. I never actually went and saw it. Was it him? Yeah, because it's the one that they did the deepfakes with him, right? Because they had him fighting his younger self. Gemini Man, there it is. Yeah. Polly's got it, yep. And soap, yep. But yeah, I always think of like the Bourne movies, for example. Like imagine watching that in 60 FPS. That would suck. All the action would look awful. But yeah, like for video games though, having that high frame rate is awesome. Yeah, gross. That's exactly how I put it. Zack Snyder intensifies. For him, we just need to crank the contrast up and sharpness. But Man of Steel, phenomenal movie. I really like that one. Like, admittedly, it's a little dark for a Superman movie. It's a little too Batman-esque, but it's a good movie. With Hans Zimmer on the music. Yeah. Shot in 96, projected at 48. 300. Great movie. I think Corridor Crew did the breakdown on that they made like the 3-camera rig for those like zoom shots when it goes slow motion when he's fighting, when he's charging the battle. That one's really good. But yeah, the contrast again. That movie has 3 colors in it. Yeah, I've never heard of any of these other movies, Polly. 192 FPS. Wait. That doesn't work. It's not evenly divisible. So were there frame jumps? Oh, slow-mo guys partnered. Yeah, that's cool. Those guys are awesome as well. They always upload their videos in 60 FPS, and it just feels so smooth. Which, I mean, they kind of got that going for them. They have to do that. Have you guys seen that new Superman trailer? What are your thoughts on that? Personally, I did not like it that much, but I want to hear what other people think, because everyone on the internet was like loving it, and I didn't really like it. So I thought the colors were too weird. It's evenly divisible through 96, but it was played back at 60, right? So it'd have to be the playback frame rate that it's divisible by. Tyler didn't like it. All right. See, Tyler, we think really similar here, so. Yeah, it was just like everything. Like the CG seemed like too overdone. Like especially that like the Green Lantern thing. Like I didn't like that. And then just the colors felt off. Which is kind of James Gunn's thing. He does that, but yeah, bad CGI. Oh, I see you guys were letting me know about the can't see the screen. I have a streamer mode turned on Discord, so that way. Actually, I'm not even sharing my desktop audio, so I don't know why. The high frame rate experiments. Yeah, checking this out. But it was done for interesting. Yeah, so it probably used some sort of interpolation, it looks like, because it said that it was some clever image processing with Real ID True Motion. Yeah. So they had to do some like optical flow. You actually yelled to Phoenix about how much he hated the trailer. Yeah. Helion, yeah. That's one thing that I think we really need to get back to, is doing more stuff practically. We'll leave that up to Christopher Nolan. We'll see what he does with the Odyssey here. Because that one, that seems like it'll be hard to do practically. But so Minecraft, let's not even talk about that. Though, admittedly, the second trailer was a lot better than that original teaser. Yeah. But still, I don't know. I watched this video of them breaking down like how the whole scaling of everything is wrong, because blocks are like 3 feet tall or something like that, and it was like 3 or 4 of them to add up to like Jack Black's height, and he's not that tall. The Lost Sulfur Lamp King. I guess I didn't pay enough attention. I just knew it was bad. I am Jack Black in a blue shirt. Yep. He just plays himself. That's the thing. Oh, Corridor did it? Oh yeah, that was them that did that breakdown. Yep. I love all of their like the VFX artist reveals the scale of. Those are cool videos. And Ren's just awesome. I like Ren. But yeah, the Minecraft one, that one's interesting. So we'll see. I saw, I think the director said like we were very careful to make sure it was named a Minecraft story, not the Minecraft story. So they can always use that as an out. The community can just be like, yeah, that's over there. We don't care about that. I'll switch back to this before I forget. The Mary Poppins thing, that was crazy. Yeah, with the like the amber light, is that what it was? And they had the special like lens thing that they used. That was yeah. But they just forgot how to do it. They haven't tried to fix it yet or figure out a way to do it again because they lost the piece of glass. It's like, why can't we figure that out now? Yeah. Yeah, that one's really good. Because Corridor did like a thing. It was way back before like they could even do green screens and stuff like that. They were I don't know if they could do green screens there, but they have a way that you can perfectly do a green screen key even with full motion blur. Like super easy, 100% reliable all the time. You can use glass objects, like any translucency works. Water, yeah, super cool. And yeah, so they used on Mary Poppins way back in the day, and I don't think it's been used on anything else. And now all of her green screens look bad. The one that just came to mind, Black Widow. If you guys watched that movie, um, what's her sister's name? Whatever her sister's name is, when they were leaving the skybase thing, and she like puts the pole down in the engine or something like that, and you just see the shot on her face, and it's just a terrible green screen key. It was awful. A specific type of lamp, and then using some sort of filter on the film. I think it was. I think it. They had 2 cameras, and it was a special lens that sent the light in both directions to both sensors. And then in the one, it was just capturing the amber light only. So then they could like overlay that as a mask and cut it out. I think but it was like done on film. I don't think it was a digital thing. Matte reactivity or something. Yeah. Yeah, the video goes into all the like science and the details behind it. And it was cool. Yelena, yep. Yeah. And that's the hard thing about it is like it's not the VFX artist's fault that it's bad. It's the studio's fault. They the best example I can think of that is Black Panther, where they had to do like that whole end fight scene in like 3 weeks because they decided to redo it. And now it looks awful as a result. And it's not the VFX artist's fault. They were overworked and underpaid to do that. So yeah. Yeah, and then you got Christopher Nolan. That's why he's my favorite director right now. Yep. Just does stuff real, decides like, hey, I'm gonna take a 747 and crash it into an airport hangar. It's probably cheaper, right? And it looks so good then. I need 6 months. No, you have 2. Quentin Tarantino. All right, I might upset you here, Tyler. I did not like Pulp Fiction. I've only seen it once, but I got to see what your take on this is. I'm waiting for I agree or something in all caps like what? We gasp. Yeah, I don't know. I just did not care for it. Usually I like movies like that, but I mean, I guess the whole point was that there's not like just one huge consistent story. If there is, I missed it. I've turned Tyler French. Okay, so funny thing about this actually. Um, people like what they like. Yeah. So I ordered a Blu-ray player for my computer that can, like read and write Blu-rays. Just to watch them. For legal reasons, I don't do anything else with it. But I decided to order it used to save like $10 on Amazon. And when I opened it up, it had the 4K copy of Pulp Fiction in it. So I now have the 4K Pulp Fiction disc without a case because whoever returned it last left it in there. So that was kind of funny. So maybe I have to watch it now that I have it on a 4K Blu-ray instead of streaming, and maybe I'll like it. Yeah, we'll see. I think you should rewatch it. The whole point behind the movie is the nonlinear nature of the story. It does coalesce. Is that what you said? Yeah. Eventually, but you have to be paying attention. Like watching it as background noise will get you lost. See, I didn't watch it. Like I can never do that. I can never watch a movie just on the background. Like I have to be watching, paying attention, and focusing on it. But my guess is what happened was that I went into it expecting a certain thing and got something different. And as a result, I did not like it that much. But I should have known because right at the beginning it like pops up like Pulp Fiction, like pulp, and it has like the definition of it, of it just being like not straightforward essentially. Tenet. Let's talk about that movie. How's that one? That one you got to watch multiple times. I like that one. That's a movie that people either like love or hate. There's not much of a in between for it. That one's confusing. Inception 2. Inception, I feel like there's more people like Inception than Tenet. There's people have a lot more complaints about Tenet because it was insanely confusing and people think there's no character development, which there is and isn't to an extent, but it's also part of the story. Like he didn't give the main character a name. He just called him the protagonist. But yeah, Inception. I just rewatched that with some friends not too long ago. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I have not. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Let's look it up. It's a Western. We got DiCaprio and what's that other guy's name? I recognize him. Oh, Brad Pitt. Duh. He looked like in this poster that I'm looking at, the guy from Parks and Rec. IMDb. Let's see. I don't remember his name. Like the super literal guy that came in one of the later seasons. Rob Lowe. That's who I thought it was at first. Looks kind of similar to Brad Pitt. Not Ron Swanson. Yeah. Possibly his best. Maybe I'll have to watch that. Yeah, I'll add it to a watch list. It's a pretty new one. got a couple big actors in that one. Yeah. Kind of cool. Yeah, well, I think I'm gonna hop off the stream for tonight. It's cool talking with you guys, and yeah, it was fun to do the trivia. I think I'll do some stuff like that again. Maybe we'll come up with a better system so that it's not as internet dependent, but I don't really know how to get around that. Oh, he's only doing one more? Yeah, we'll see. Maybe that won't last. Maybe he'll do the one more, and then five years later, he's like, I'm gonna do another one. Who knows? But yeah, it was fun. Thanks for staying and chatting. Got to get this video edited so that way I can publish it tomorrow. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the Discord server. All right. I did not make an outro slide, so we're just going to fade to black and then call it quits. So, all right. Well, you guys have a good night. See you later.